Hey guys, today's quick glimpse at things you should know. We're going to talk about impeachment. Do you know what impeachment is? Do you know how it works? Do you know what it does? If not, hang around. Here at Things You Should Know podcast, our focus varies from commonly asked questions like, what are the top email apps for iPhone users? Or how much does it cost to go to Disney World anyway? To the trending topics of the day, such as, are taxes going up or down? And who's Elon Musk? We shed light on things you probably have always wondered about, but you never got around to investigating them yourself. This podcast brings you the answers to your most commonly asked questions and makes you smarter just by listening. Information empowers, and the more information you have, the better decision you can make, and ultimately, your quality of life is based on the decisions you make. So, thanks for joining the discussion, and make sure that you subscribe today and not miss out on any future episodes of Things You Should Know. Show. This is Kelly. I'm your host, and you reach Things You Should Know. And today we're going to do a quick, what I call a quick glimpse into a particular trending topic, and that is impeachment. Sometimes on the show we'll do deep dives and we'll get really deep into a particular subject matter, and then sometimes we'll just give you a briefing, if you will, on a particular item, issue, definition, term, a trending topic. And our trending topic today is impeachment. And assuming you didn't wake up from a 8-year coma, you would realize why this topic is trending. Today is the inauguration day of President-elect Joe Biden, and we're recording this today. And impeachment, of course, is something that is taking place in our country. So I thought it'd be prevalent to talk about what it is, because many people don't know what impeachment is, what it does, what it implies. Can someone be locked up, et cetera, et cetera. There are a number of questions, and my goal is to answer as many of those as I can today. So let's get going. So let's start at the beginning. Great place to start. What is impeachment? What is impeachment? So I pulled information from a number of resources, Wikipedia being one of those resources. And I'm going to kind of give you a rudimentary term or definition, rather, and then I'll circle back with some more common language so that we can be in agreement and understand what impeachment is. So impeachment, let me just say this to begin with. People who live in the United States tend to think that, the world revolves around us. Impeachment is a term that is not exclusive to the United States. Anyone in any government in any country on the earth can be impeached for the most part. So impeachment is a process by which a legislative body addresses legal charges against a government official. Any government official. It doesn't just have to be the president. It can be any government official. So national delegations differ regarding the definition and the consequences of an impeachment. In many countries, for example, Latin America, impeachment refers to a definitive destitution. An official in these jurisdictions is therefore considered impeached when they've been removed from office. Now, conversely, as you know, in our country, that's not how it goes. In other judiciaries, such as ours in the United States, impeachment refers to a previous step to putting them out of office, that of the authority of an indictment or something similar to an indictment. A U.S. president, for example, is impeached by the House of Representatives. He or she can remain in power. Unfortunately, to this point, it's only been a he. He can remain in power while the charges are pending. And the Senate has responsibility, according to the Constitution, to address the impeachment from the House in trial. So the Senate does the trial. The House engages and institutes the impeachment. Now, because impeachment and conviction of officials involve the overturning of the normal constitutional procedures by which individuals achieve high office, that it means elections, ratifications, or appointments, and because it generally requires a supermajority, they're usually reserved for those deemed to have committed serious offenses while in their office. In the United States, for example, impeachment at the federal level is limited to those who may have committed such crimes as, or accused of committing such crimes as treason, bribery, or, as the Constitution, our founders vaguely stated, high crimes and misdemeanors, certainly open to interpretation. In the U.S., Congress derives the authority from the Constitution. The term impeachment is commonly used to mean removing someone from office, and it actually refers only to the filing of formal charges. I think a lot of people don't understand that. When you hear impeachment, people normally go to Nixon. And if you're in the United States, impeachment, people normally go to Nixon and maybe to Clinton. And if you go to Nixon, you can be under the impression that Nixon was impeached and therefore he left office. And that's not true. Nixon was impeached, but Nixon resigned. The impeachment didn't force him out. The impeachment itself, he resigned. So back to the story. If the House impeaches, the Senate then holds a trial on those charges to decide whether the officer, again, any legislative officer that's been elected to office can be impeached. So it doesn't just have to be a president. It can be a president or any other federal official. The Senate holds the trial to determine if that person should be removed from office and are barred from holding office in the future. So impeachment conviction could mean that a person could not in the future run for and or hold office, which of course is what's taking place in the United States. And that is something that Republicans, I don't really know if Republicans are worried about it or not, because I don't know if they want Trump back. But this is certainly something that Trump is considering and worried about, along with many other things. Now, what gives the House and the Senate this power? Well, Article 1 of the United States Constitution gives the House of Representatives the sole power of impeachment. The sole power. So that doesn't come from the Senate. The Senate has the sole power to try the impeachments, of the officers in question. So I hope that gives you a clear understanding of what impeachment is and sort of how it works. Now, let's get into what constitutes an impeachable offense. As I said before, the founders intentionally, perhaps, kept the term high crimes and misdemeanors vague because impeachment is meant to be a political act, not a legal one. Unlike a criminal law, there are no clear rules for evaluating when a president has stepped over the constitutional line. The founders rejected the term maladministration as grounds for impeachment. Maladministration. Simply put, they didn't want a president tossed out of office by Congress because he was doing a terrible job. Mr. Hamilton Alexander said that impeachment offenses were those that involve abuse of public trust. Now, the term is generally understood to mean abuse of office. That's what most people understand. You're abusing your power as the president of the United States. Now, in the U.S., who's been impeached? Well, I've already talked about Nixon. The House Judiciary Committee approved 3 articles of impeachment against Nixon. This was done in 1974, and this is what they charged him with. Number 1, obstruction of justice. Why? For impeding the investigation into the break-in in the DNC, the Democratic National Committee headquarters in Watergate office building. Okay, that was one charge. The second, the abuse of power for trying to use the CIA, the FBI, and other agencies to cover up the break-in, the Watergate conspiracy. And then the third is the contempt of Congress. The contempt of Congress. This is for refusing to turn over material in response to congressional subpoenas. So that's what Nixon was charged with. Now, the second president that was impeached This was during my lifetime. This is Bill Clinton. This was done in 1998. And he was charged with lying under oath to a grand jury about the nature of his relationship with two women, one Monica Lewinsky and the other Paula Jones. Secondly, he was also impeached for obstruction of justice. This is for encouraging Lewinsky and others to make false statements and conceal gifts that he had given to her. Now, the third is what's taking place today, the impeachment of Donald Trump. This is for very serious, what I consider very serious crimes against the state. They would include insurrection, treason, and these sorts of things, certainly abuse of power. But we'll see how that plays out. The House has impeached as of today. Again, this is the swearing-in date for President-elect Joe Biden. So the Senate trial, which is the final song in the play, hasn't taken place yet. So we don't know how this is going to play out. Quick question. Must the Senate hold a trial? Well, the Constitution says the Senate has the sole power to try all impeachments, and some scholars have suggested and argued that this means that the Senate is empowered, but they're not required to carry out this function. But Senate rules suggest that it is its duty and not an option. So if the House brings the impeachment, there's not been a time that the Senate has not held a trial. So the Senate impeachment rule states this: whensoever the Senate shall receive notice from the House of Representatives that managers are appointed on their part to conduct an impeachment against any person and are directed to carry articles of impeachment to the Senate, the Secretary of the Senate shall immediately inform the House of Representatives that the Senate is ready to receive the managers for the purpose of exhibiting such articles of impeachment agreeably to such notice. Okay? Now, how does the Senate trial work? The Constitution lays out three requirements. Number one, the Chief Justice is the person who presides over the Senate trial as the president, the Chief Justice. Not the trial of any other official. The Chief Justice presides over the Senate trial of a president. Each senator must be sworn in. Similar to how jurors are sworn in, they take an oath. Senators must be sworn in. And lastly, 2/3 vote is required. This is your supermajority. 2/3 votes are required to convict on any article of impeachment. Okay? Now, one of the preliminaries out of the way, the trial takes place. Once the preliminaries are out of the way, the trial takes place under procedures similar to a regular courtroom. That is to say, the House managers make an opening statement. It's followed by a statement from the lawyers for the president. In this example, there's not a requirement for the president to appear, and he cannot be compelled to testify against himself. After both sides make their arguments, the Senate begins their deliberations. Traditionally, this is done in a closed setting. And then the last stage of this is the Senate votes separately on each article of impeachment, and this is done in an open session. What is the role of the Chief Justice? Well, we talked about that already. Chief Justice, not only do they preside over the Senate as the president during this trial, but the Senate has to adopt the rules of evidence. So the role of the Chief Justice is limited. The Senate has not adopted rules of evidence, but the rules give the Chief Justice the authority to decide on all evidentiary questions. He can also put the questions to the full Senate for a vote on admissibility. So that is to say, if there are questions or concerns or any unrest, if we're going by Robert's Rules of Order, then it is up to the Chief Justice to mitigate and to facilitate that while this trial is taking place. In other words, he acts just like a regular judge. And then lastly, a pressing question which has crossed the social media waves in the last months or so as we embark on a new administration. And this is, could the president pardon himself if, in fact, he is impeached? And the answer is no. The answer is no. The same constitutional provision that provides the president the power to grant reprieves and pardons for offenses against the United States adds this phrase, except in cases of impeachment. So I'll say that again. Can the president, if he's impeached, can he pardon himself? The answer is no. The same constitutional provision that gives the president the power to pardon, grant reprieves, things of this nature, has this language in it, except in cases of impeachment. So a president cannot pardon himself. So guys, that's impeachment, and that's our quick glimpse into what impeachment is, how it works, what it does. And I hope you've learned something today. Certainly going through this process, it is important that we're all educated as we're watching this unfold in front of us so that we know and we're able to participate from an educated standpoint. It's been my pleasure to have you here at Things You Should Know. Please subscribe if you've not done so already, and we'll see you again soon.